analysis of amplifier circuits. This is not applied for, say for example, digital circuits. We have studied logic gates. If you want to debug logic gates, we will never apply these responses. Only for analog circuits and especially for amplifiers, we will use these two kind of responses. Okay, that's not a big thing. We already explained what is the DC voltage, DC current in the last class, AC voltage, AC current in the last class. Today we will see how these responses can be applied. Okay, so DC response is nothing but, because the amplifier circuit is made up of this DC voltages and as well as AC voltages. So we'll see that how to apply this. And to analyze the amplifier circuit, we need to be familiar with a theorem called as superposition theorem. Because you cannot analyze simultaneously the amplifier circuit using these two responses. You must just do one by one, that's all. Say for example, if you have an amplifier circuit, just apply for the DC response for the amplifier circuit. Then later on you apply AC response for the amplifier circuit. Together you apply superposition theorem. So DC response and AC responses should be analyzed separately. So you understand this? You cannot analyze simultaneously. Okay, that's one big thing. So what exactly this responses we will discuss them one by one. So also we have we discussed last class with biasing circuit. So biasing circuit is a circuit which will assist in the, okay, this circuit will contain some components like resistors, capacitors. This circuit will assist for the transistor to operate in active region. Okay, that's an important here. For transistor to act an amplifier, first of all it must operate in active region. If you want to make the transistor to operate in active region, you must construct a biasing circuit based on transistor. Okay. So we'll discuss one by one here. So let us see that we have defined last class what is an operating point. Operating point is also called as Q point. Sometimes the expansion of Q is quiescent point. This operating point is nothing but just the values of VCE and IC value, the values of collector emitter voltage and collector current. These two are nothing but the operating, called as operating point. Okay, so VCE represents collector emitter voltage in common emitter configuration. IC represents current flowing in common emitter configurations. We use common emitter configuration because that is one of the C is most widely used because of it provides a large amount of voltage and as well as current gains. That's why we prefer common emitter amplifier, common emitter configuration for the amplifier circuit. You see all these methods here. First of all, you must choose BJT, connect it in common emitter configuration. Reason I given here, because it has got sufficient amount of voltage and as well as current gain, whereas other configurations does not have it. And having connected transistor in CE amplifier mode, CE configuration, next what you must do is operate that in active region. How do you operate in active region? Using the biasing circuit. What does biasing circuit consist of? Resistors, only resistors and DC supplies. It does not contain any capacitors. Okay. Only resistors and DC supply along with the BJT, bipolar transistor. And to analyze any amplifier circuits, important thing is you have to apply superposition theorem. Why we need to apply superposition theorem? Because this analysis of amplifier involves a DC response as well as AC response. Because amplifier circuit is made up of DC components as well as AC components. You must analyze separately. How do you analyze separately? For the amplifier circuit, first you try to obtain the DC response. When you are obtaining DC responses, AC component should be made zero. You should not consider any AC components. If capacitors are there, just ignore them. If AC voltage is there, just ignore it. Only DC voltages and resistors should be considered in DC analysis to obtain the DC response. And similarly, when you want to obtain the AC response, okay, all capacitors must be there. AC signal must be there. So whatever the DC signals you have, DC components you have, along with that you can add up capacitors, AC signal, everything. you try to obtain the AC response. Okay. Having obtained DC response and AC response, finally you apply the superposition theorem. What is superposition theorem? What is superposition theorem? Suppose if circuit has got two sources, if you want to estimate output for both sources, what you will do? You have to apply separate. First apply one source and see the output. Next apply second source, see the output. Okay. Then finally you apply superposition theorem and sum of that output you see the resulting output. That's what superposition theorem says. Since here, why we need to apply superposition theorem for an amplifier? Because it consists of DC voltage as well as AC voltage. Response means it is an output, nothing else. Okay. DC output, how do you find it? Having DC voltage. AC voltage, AC response, how do you find it? Having AC voltage. To obtain total response, what you do is superposition. So this is totally the summary of this the common this operating point. Okay. So we'll see that here what are the things the biasing circuit contains. And we mentioned it. This is biasing circuit contains of resistors. Along with that, we'll have a BJT. Okay. So any questions you can go through that. I will go through the next important thing is there are totally 4 conditions need to be met for the BJT to act as a faithful amplifier. You'll see that what are those 4 conditions. This is just what we have considered in the last class. You can take it as 4 conditions. Four conditions to be met by what? By amplifier. If you met this condition, what is going to happen? If you satisfy the 4 conditions, what I am going to list out here, okay, the amplifier will do faithful amplification. In order to achieve faithful amplification, you must satisfy the 4 conditions, whatever I am going to mention. Among them, the first condition is going to be base emitter junction. Let me indicate base emitter junction as JBE. Okay. You can indicate this or else you can write it in wordings also in the examination. JB must be forward bias. Indicate forward bias as FB, as well as JCB. Collector base junction must be reverse bias. Okay. This should happen for all levels of input signal. Whenever I say input signal, in bracket you can take it is an AC signal. AC input or AC signal. The signal which needs to be amplified. Okay. Input signal or AC signal which you are applying. Okay. As we said in the last class, our default input signal is a sinusoidal because it resembles the human voice. Any signal can be constructed from sine wave. So that's why input signal is nothing but the AC signal which is sinusoidal waveform. So for all levels of input, what do you mean by levels of input signals? Because you see nature of the sine wave. Sometimes it goes positive, sometimes it goes remains in positive, negative. Keep on fluctuating. That's why for all levels of input signal, that means whether it is a positive or negative, irrespective of that, your BJT should have base emitter junction of BJT should be forward bias, collector base junction of the bipolar junction transistor should be reverse bias. How do you do this? I am saying the rule, but how do you achieve this? For this, what you must do is there is a base emitter voltage minimum that you have to apply. Say if you want to achieve VBE as forward bias, just make this VBE must be greater than 0.3 volts. This is for germanium transistor. However, the same VBE for should be greater than 0.7 volts. This is for silicon transistor. If you apply base emitter voltage larger than suppose in case if I am using silicon transistor, if I apply base emitter voltage larger than 0.7 volts, you can achieve this condition. Okay. That's going to be condition number 1. What is condition number 2 says? Condition number 2 says VCE must be greater than VCE saturation. This VCE sat is also called as knee voltage. Okay. For any part of the input signal. Again, input signal means it is an AC signal. I'll give again VCE sat values. This VCE saturation, which will be equal to 0.5 volt. This is for the germanium transistor, whereas saturation voltage VCE sat, other parameter saturation voltage, that must be equal to 1 volt. This is for silicon transistor. Understand this? If you don't satisfy this condition, what is going to happen in a transistor? So, if you don't satisfy this condition, I'm going to write here your JCB. What is JCB? Collector based junction will not get properly reverse biased. If you don't reverse bias this properly, what is going to happen? You will never get faithful amplification. What is faithful amplification? Exact replica. Suppose if I apply sine wave, small wave as input, maybe peak to peak 50 millivolts. I want exact replica with larger strength, like 1 volt peak. Okay. Such a kind of waveform is called as a thin circuit which generates, okay, same as input but with larger strength. Such an amplification is called as faithful amplification. Without distortion, there should not be any distortion. Normally, you look at some amplifiers will produce distortion this type. This is the kind of distortion which will happen. Okay. Such distortions we don't expect. Distortion, noise are going to be totally different. Do not get confused with distortion and noise. They are separate topics. Okay. So, you understand this? What happens if JCB, if you don't meet this condition, that means if you make under any circumstance VCE less than VCE saturation, what is going to happen? JCB is not properly reverse bias. If you don't reverse bias it, no faithful amplification. So I given VCE saturation values you can note here. VCE sat for germanium is 0.5 volts and saturation color emitter voltage for the silicon transistor is 4. That means you must maintain VCE. If I am using a silicon transistor, my VCE must be greater than 1 volt. You apply VCE as 2 volts, 3 volts, 4 volts like that. You will see when I will draw some curves later on, you will see that why you want to meet this condition. Okay, from the graph only you will understand the complete picture of these conditions whatever I am explaining right now. Okay, I have not drawn that graph. I am going to draw this graph maybe later on after explaining these conditions. Once you see that clear-cut picture of the amplifier characteristics, you will come to know that why these conditions are needed, why this condition is needed. Okay. And the third condition is going to be, any questions are in first and second conditions? Okay. The third condition is going to be the IC value. IC means it's a collector current value must be equal to IC, okay, the maximum IC under the no signal is applied. Okay, you can say here when no signal is applied. That means when there is no input signal. That's the meaning here. That's the third condition. So understand this third condition? Because you are applying this kind of signal to the BJT side wave. When you don't apply anything, unless when the input signal is 0, your IC value, IC means the current going in the output, collector current. Normally output current in BJT is collector current. Input current is base current or emitter current. That's going to be input current. If you look at the BJT, common emitter mode. In common emitter mode, base current itself is input. So IC value is going to be the output current. So when there is no input current signal applied, AC signal applied, under that conditions, your output must be equal to the maximum collector current. Okay? Because sometimes signal will be positive, sometimes signal will be negative, BJT will be turned off. So minimum, the output you must maintain, even though when there is no input signal is out. That's going to be condition number 3. And the last is going to be the power levels. So IC max means maximum collector current, IC max, comma VCE max, maximum collector emitter voltage, and lastly PD max. PD means it is power dissipation. This stands for dissipation. Power that is dissipated across the bipolar junction transistor. Maximum power dissipated across the bipolar junction transistor. That should not exceed its maximum ratings. Should not exceed maximum ratings. If you exceed this rating, definitely you are going to get distorted, or output will get distorted, or you will get distortion at the output. If these conditions, IC max, VC max, PD max, should be within the ratings. You understand what is rating? Suppose if for this tube light, rating may be, say for example 100 watts, power dissipated across this. If you supply more energy, what is going to happen? 440 volts, you get burnout. Same situation is going to happen in a transistor also. You must maintain all these 3 things within its limit. Rating means limit, that's all. That's what you know the 4 conditions here. So these are the 4 conditions which need to be satisfied. If you have any questions with respect to this, you can ask. If you meet this condition, definitely you are going to achieve what is called as a basic example. So we'll see now definition for operating point. So far we explained just notations of operating point. We can take note definition for operating point. The DC collector current. The DC collector current. In bracket you can take IC, both uppercase, I sub C. The DC collector current IC and the DC collector emitter voltage VCE and the DC collector emitter voltage VCE when no input signal is applied. When no input signal is applied, are collectively referred to as operating point. I repeat once again, the DC collector current IC and the DC collector emitter voltage VCE, when no input signal is applied, input signal means AC signal, okay, is applied, are collectively referred to as operating point. You understand definition? Sometimes in examination you may ask to define an operating point. Okay, you can simply write it VCE comma IC. If they ask for definition, you can write this. Another way of defining operating point is nothing but it's a point on the transistor output characteristics in common emitter configuration. Simple definition which you can give. Okay. So operating point is also called as Q point or present point, which is already defined. Okay. Now we'll see that how to select an operating point. Selection of operating. It is essential that operating point must be in the active region. But how do you fix the operating point in the active region? For that you need to have biasing circuits. You will see that here. Okay, what is the method of selection of an operating point? I will draw here a graph of transistor output characteristics. Although you have drawn this graph earlier, now this graph is going to give you different meaning. Okay, this is totally different from whatever the common emitter characteristics I have drawn previously. You can see this is going to be the x-axis is in as usual VCE in volts. Y-axis is going to be IC, which is in milliampere. I am going to draw here both power graphs as well as output characteristics. First you draw the output characteristics. You can go in steps of 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, and we can end up at 25 volts. That's the x-axis. x-axis is nothing but calorimeter voltage, which is in volts, which were taken in a scale of in steps of in increments of 5 volts. The y-axis is going to be collector current, which is in milliamperes. This will take it in steps of 10 milliampere, 10 milliampere, 20 milliampere, 30 milliampere. You can go up to 50, 40 milliampere, 50 milliampere. That's going to be y-axis, IC in milliamperes. And we already know that, let's assume that here for the time being it is a silicon bipolar junction transistor. We already know what is the VC sat for that in the conditions whatever I given already. The VC sat for silicon is going to be around 1 volt. VC sat. Look at the condition for the 2. It's going to be 1 volt. That is represented with dotted line there. Obviously, this is 5 volts. 1 volt will be very close to 0, right? So just draw the dotted lines of that. I will show here. This is going to be my VC sat. Show it with dotted lines. Below I have indicated here. I will indicate this is VC sat. Assuming that it is a contrast. And I will assume that anything beyond 25 volts is going to be the breakdown region. Okay. Again, I will indicate that with dotted line. Just draw the vertical line for 25 volts. Okay. Anything beyond this is called as breakdown region. Now we will plot the transistor output characteristics. How do you plot transistor output characteristics in common emitter mode? Where VC along x-axis, IC along y-axis, what must be the constant? IB, base current must be constant. So we will go for different values of IB. For 0, okay, you can see that curve will be very close to x-axis. You can plot it up. This is going to be for IB is equal to 0. Okay, 0, which is you can take it in microampere. And again you can go in steps of 10 milliampere. This is for IB, which is 10 microampere. Similarly, we will go for IB with 20 microampere. So we are going to plot family of curves. This is for IB, which is 20 microampere. In similar lines, we can go for plotting this is for the base current with 30 microampere. This curve is for IB is equal to 40 microampere. Microampere. This way you can plot a family of curves. The power dissipation curve, if you plot it, I am showing here the power dissipation curve with again dotted lines. How do you plot power dissipation curve? You must calculate across the transistor. You just take the product of calorimeter voltage and current. P is equal to V into I. Okay. You take that, this curve is going to appear in this manner. PD max, power dissipation, maximum power dissipation. Any questions are there in while plotting this curve? What we have done here is we just plotted the transistor common emitter output characteristics. You can see family of curves for different values of base currents starting from 0, and we have plotted up to 50 microamperes of base current. Base current normally will be smaller, and this is going to be in milliampere. VC is going to be volts. Later we plotted we have shown on the graph VC is saturation collector emission voltage. Typically for silicon NPN transistor, which is 1 volt, you can mention it here. This is going to be 1 volt because of silicon transistor which was used. And later on you can see that we also plotted here the breakdown region beyond 25 volts, and anything larger than that VC transistor will be in breakdown region. It will not conduct, it will get breakdown. Why we plotted this curve, you know that? Because of this. We want to select an operating point. On this also mentioned a definition, remember? The second definition what I mentioned is the operating point is a point on the output characteristics of a transistor in common emitter configuration. That means it must be some point here, that's all, in this characteristics curve, whatever I have drawn it. But now question arises now, how do you select an operating point? Can I select an operating point which is at the origin? Okay, we will see that we'll give clarification for that. What happens if I select the operating point near the origin? What happens if I select operating point which is away from the origin, which is near to the breakdown region? What is going to happen? We discussed that. And what happens if I select an operating point at the vicinity of the VC site, at near the knee voltage? If I select an operating point, what is going to happen? And if I select an operating point in between the power dissipation curve and the VC site, what is going to happen? Okay, so we just just draw the here a small the thin line here to show what is going to be the slope, a 45 degree line here. I just want to indicate operating point over this line. Okay, the first operating point, let me indicate here. Let us call this point as A. Okay, possible operating point I am saying, but this is not the suitable operating point for the faithful application. That's going to be the A. And the B point is, let's assume that which is close to the this particular VC site. The second operating point. Third operating point, let me choose somewhere here. Let us call this as a C. And the fourth operating point, let us choose here. Let us call this as D. A, B, C. Okay. So go through that here. Let us explain one by one now. What happens if I select an operating point? Say for example point A. You must give a reason here why A is not a suitable operating point. First, what are the problems with respect to A? First of all, in the A, where VC is 0, IC is 0, that region is cut-off region. First of all, BJT is in cut-off region. Let me say transistor is in cut-off region. So this is not a suitable operating point. Any other reasons? In the point A, current whatever it is flowing, IC which is equal to 0. There is no collector current going in this point, at this point. If there is no collector current, no amplification at all. There must be some small amount of base current and large amount of collector current should flow without exceeding its rating. That's going to be second. And in this region also VBE is going to be 0. That means it is going to violate the first condition itself. In the point A and the point A. And lastly is what we can conclude from this is operating point A is not a suitable Q point or operating point because of these reasons whatever I given. You cannot achieve a faithful amplification because of all these reasons. Let me say no faithful amplification. That's going to be the drawback of point. What about point B? Point B is somewhat better than point A. I'm not saying point B is not good, but there are some drawbacks in point B also, and there are some drawbacks in point C also. A minor drawbacks. Again, because of that, you don't get faithful amplification. Okay. Let us see the point B first of all. Now, point B, the one advantage is, what I need here is faithful amplification. Faithful means it must allow positive portion of a signal, it must allow negative portion of a signal. Because my input is going to be of this type, same sort of wave. Okay. Suppose if in the point A, both are not allowed. BJT is not allowing positive portion as well as negative portion of a signal. But see in the point B, the advantage is this will allow positive portion as well as negative portion of a signal. But to certain extent, positive portion of a signal will be flipped off. Even though negative portion passes without clipping. You know, clipping is one of the drawback in electronic circuits. Even sometimes we make use as advantage also. Suppose if some signal is corrupted with noise, you can remove that signal. Clipping means removing signal. Okay. But here, if you remove this information itself, what is going to happen? Suppose if I am speaking, some level will be positive, some level will be negative. If I remove the positive portion itself, my output will be distorted. Whatever I speak here, you cannot able to listen properly. That's what we say it is a distorted. Okay. So point B is advantage is it allows both positive portion of a signal as well as negative portion of a signal. We can write it here. Allows positive and negative portion of input. That's the advantage for this. Second drawback here is the peak to peak voltage is limited because the point B is very close to the VCE sat. Due to that, the peak to peak voltage what is coming out, choosing B as the operating point, that is limited due to the reason is the point B is close proximity with VCE sat. Because of this, you know that first condition, the condition number 2 itself is VCE must be greater than VCE sat. That means your VCE sat somewhere it must be lesser than this and above from the VCE sat. That must be your VCE. Okay. Since it is point B is very close to the close proximity with VCE sat, which is nothing but 1 volt, the point B is not a suitable operating point. So what you can write the second point drawback here. Okay. So here the peak to peak output voltage, let me say P to P output voltage is limited. We don't want to have this limited, but still the output peak to peak voltage is limited due to what? Due to the operating point or Q point is in close proximity with what? VCE sat. Therefore, point B is not a suitable operating point. Same thing you can write here. And again, point B is not suitable for faithful amplification. So this implies that okay, B is not suitable Q point. That's the reason for point B. We know that D is a very good operating point, suitable operating point, but first we'll go for C. Analyze C. Later on we can come for point B to analyze point D. We can go for point C now. What about C? If this point C is a suitable operating point, can tell me some of the drawbacks of point C. This also allows both positive portion as well as negative portion. But however, you can see that this point C is very close to the power dissipation curve. This violates the condition number 4. Okay. This is the maximum rating of the PD max, what we said. This is the PD max curve. Okay. So because this is close to the PD max curve, some portion of positive signals may be clipped off when you choose C as an operating. That you can mention it in point C. Okay. You can take the point C. Point C is, first of all, it is close to PD max at the first point. Okay. And output voltage swing is reduced. In bracket you can take positive swing. The meaning of a swing is peak to peak voltage. Example, say if this peak to peak is going to be 10 volts, the other name for this is instead of saying peak to peak voltage as 10 volts, we can also say swing is 10 volts. Okay. Same thing I am saying here also. First of all, the point C, if you choose as an operating point, this point C is very close to the PD max. You can look at it. It is close to this particular curve, PD max curve, power dissipation. That violates condition number 4, which we need to be within the limit. So if the point C is chosen, another drawback is the output voltage swing is reduced. Which swing is reduced? Positive swing. Negative, no problem. Negative will pass efficiently without any distortion. But only thing is, this positive portion of all the cycles will get flipped off. That's the reason for not choosing the C as operating point. So this implies that what it implies, C is not suitable. Okay. You cannot choose C as an operating point. And last you can come for point D, which is a best point, where you can see the efficient transitions of positive portions as well as negative portions. We don't have any drawback here. We can write first advantages of this. Point D, what is the advantage? Same thing, it allows both positive and negative portion of the input signal. Portion of input signal. That is the first advantage of point D. Anything else? Moreover, this is in the active region. Okay, this is not even close to the saturation. This is going to be saturation region of the transistor characteristics. It is not in the saturation. This point is D is not even in cutoff region also. Point D is not in the breakdown region also. So point D is exactly in the middle of the active region. That's advantage for us. So that's going to be second point is the point D is in the middle of active region. Another advantage is if you choose D as an operating point, you are going to get voltage as well as current gains larger, which you don't get in point A, B and as well as C. Okay, so you will get it larger voltage and current gains. That's what we expect from the amplifier. Okay. Gain means what? It is the ratio of output voltage by input voltage. If it is the voltage gain. Current gain means it's the ratio of output current by input current. If the gain is large, what do you mean by that? That means output current is obviously larger than the input current. So this particular D, if you choose an operating point, it can provide larger voltage as well as current gains. Okay, that's what is the advantage for us. So this you can see this D is going to be a best or suitable operating point. If you want to design a good amplifier, proper selection of an operating point is important role. Okay. So how do you choose this? We already said that point is suitable operating point here. That means you must apply sufficient amount of calorimeter voltage to the bipolar junction transistor so that it results in a proper value of IC, which is within the bound. Okay. Because of you might have seen the old radios also nowadays. If you visit your native places, okay, you can see the very big radios, okay, which some of you might have retired it even today. Okay. That needs some radios needs antenna also. Have you seen that antenna which is like a mosquito net? Okay. Such kind of antennas, small disturbance will be, you can observe it. That is because of a shift in operating point. Okay. Operating point is slightly shift to the downwards or to the upwards, it causes the distortions. Okay. So far what I have discussed is going to be the judicious or proper selection of an operating point. If you don't select this, then maybe you are going to get a distortion in the output, you never get the faithful amplifications. Now question arises now, suppose if I fix an operating point, everything is okay. Do you think you will get faithful amplification, or else is there any other factor which is going to distort the output signal? Is there any parameter which is going to distort the output signal of an amplifier apart from the, assume that I have already selected a D as an operating point. Fine, everything, because these are the advantages of the operating point. If I choose as a D, you will get all these advantages. My question is now, if I choose D as an operating point, is there any other factor, any other parameter which is going to distort the output signal of an amplifier? Let's assume that that's also okay. Transistor parameters, everything is fine. Natural parameters, temperature, that's one of the main cause for transistors. Okay. Even today, you cannot manufacture any electronic system which can sustain for large temperature variations. Can you operate your laptop for 100 degrees Celsius? Even Intel has not tested it. Okay. Even though they tested it, but they will not give it to the customers. Got the point here? So the temperature plays an important role. See, for us, if you exceed 45, you will feel very hot. You cannot sustain it. Right? In US, yesterday I heard that in US temperature is going to cross the 50 degrees Celsius. Temperature, people cannot live. That means you must manufacture, you must develop circuits or designs which should work at room temperature only. If temperature varies, device will not work. So same thing is going to affect our amplifier also. Everything is okay, circuit parameter okay, resistors okay, capacitors okay, everything is okay, but still temperature. This is one of the important things. Now, how do you overcome this temperature problems? Even though temperature varies, my amplifier should provide proper output, no distorted output, proper the faithful amplification. How do you achieve this? Can we maintain a stabilization, stable output irrespective of temperature variations? Say temperature may go even down also, negative temperature. Or temperature may go even high also, say 100 degrees Celsius. Can our amplifier perform perfectly irrespective of temperature variations? No, it is not possible. Now some problems that we come across is, whatever the biasing conditions we establish, DC biasing conditions we establish for the stable operating point, okay, if the temperature varies, obviously the operating point also changes. Operating point changes, especially what is going to happen. Again, you won't get proper output. So whatever the operating point D you prefer, this may not work for all temperatures. Even though biasing circuits we establish a stable operating point, because of temperature changes, this may even go for upward or this may come downwards also. This depends upon temperature. Operating point depends upon temperature. How do you say operating point depends upon temperature? Don't listen to the words. Is there any mathematical proof? We are not, the scientists. Scientists always say some words, we have to listen it, that's all. But we engineers must provide mathematical proof. Got it? Okay. So how do you provide mathematical proof for this? Look at this. What is operating point? First of all, definition you look at VC and AC. Look at whether the VC depends on temperature. You already studied in case of diode, no? Reverse saturation current. Have you come across that? Will doubles for every 10 degrees in temperature. Even here also we come across leakage current. No? You see the collector current expression, IC is equal to beta IB plus ICO. But what is that ICO? Leakage current. That depends on temperature. If ICO changes, IC changes. If temperature changes, ICO changes. If ICO changes, IC changes. If IC changes, this will be constant. If IC increases, this will go upward. If IC decreases, this will come downward. So obviously, your operating point is not stable. Whatever the DC conditions you take and circuits you design for proper operating point, that will fail because of the temperature. Will affect the responses also. Total responses. That's about the operating point here. Okay, but however, we assume that our biasing network, what we are designed, nowadays they are going to provide even temperature stability kind of components also. Apart from amplifier design, we must also design temperature stable, the amplifier also, okay, which will stable for different, the temperature variations. So any questions you can go through this. So from this, what is summary? How do we summarize this? Our topic is selection of operating point, and that is explained through this transistor output characteristics. Here we have taken 4 different operating points. Point A, B, C, M and D. D is in the middle of the activity. Among these, we said that A is not a suitable operating point because it is in origin, and moreover you will never get positive and negative portion of a signal. Distortions will get at the output. No faithful applications. A is not a suitable operating point because here the VB is also 0. Many factors are there. So A is not a suitable. B is also not suitable operating point. Even though this allows positive portion, negative portion is not a suitable operating point because this is of the vicinity of the SAT, also called as knee point. Okay, knee point is what is knee? A, knee. The curves where you see these kind of bends, this is called as a knee. Knee what is? Bends. This is a bend. Curve is bending. Curve is current is becoming constant because of the bending of the curve. You must not choose here operating point close to this. Okay? Signal will get distorted because of non-linear. This is non-linear. Right? See, in the beginning it is linear, but later on it becomes non-linear. It's not a suitable. What about point C? It is close to the power dissipation curve. Even though this allows negative portion of a signal, both swings, but negative positive portion of a swing is distorted. You now get properly the positive portion of the swing. Point D is a suitable operating point. It's the middle of the active region, and it will provide sufficient voltage and as well as current gains. And moreover, if you choose this as the operating point, you will get faithful amplifications. Okay. Apart from that, what we mentioned last week, even though you fix an operating point, D as an operating point, this also depends on temperature. This is a drawback of choosing an operating point. How we said already, because the current depends upon the ICO, the ICO depends upon the temperature. So these are the things which is essential while selecting an operating point. With that, we move on to the common present time. Again, my class is going to be in 4th hour. I am going to take again 4th hour class. Okay, I am going to continue with 4th. So there we will discuss what is common chemical function. Answer attendance. Rachana, Diana absent. Rajat, Rajat here. Rajanish, Raman, Ramya, Ratnakara, Rishabh, Ritesh, Ritu,